Welcome to Mysteries to Die For and this toe tag. I am TG Wolff and I'm here with Jack, my piano player and producer. This is normally a podcast where we combine storytelling with original music to put you at the heart of a mystery. Today is a bonus episode that we call a toe tag. It's the first chapter from a fresh release in the mystery, crime, or thriller genre. Today's featured release is The Ghost and the Key by Bill Cusano. So The Ghost and the Key is a cozy paranormal mystery. Cranberry Farm is the legacy of the Cranberry family and the cornerstone of Old Cranberry, Connecticut. 3 generations currently live on the farm, and life appears comfortable for the Cranberry women and the Old Cranberry Ladies Garden Club. But appearances can be deceiving. A threat lurks with the return of a prodigal daughter and her plan to take Cranberry Farm using a 200-year-old unsolved mystery. Bottom line, The Ghost and the Key is for you if you like small-town cozies, a good New England ghost story, and the tension and strength that comes from family drama. All right, so we are going to do the first 2 chapters. And in this story, the chapters aren't really numbered or anything. It more is listed by who the main storyteller is, because it does alternate between a couple of different people. So these first 2 are from Mildred's point of view. Old Cranberry Farm, Old Cranberry, Connecticut, 2024. Thursday. Mildred Cranberry greets the morning not as a queen addresses her subjects, but as a faithful guardian accepts her charge with outstretched arms and several deep breaths. Her father would be proud. He had raised her to be a good steward of the land, honoring the generations who had worked this land and sacrificed for it. She soaks in the view to honor them. From late spring to late autumn, Mildred keeps the French doors on the second-floor balcony open day and night. It is a constant reminder of her purpose, to pass along what she inherited so the legacy continues. The mosquitoes and other flying pests that make their way from the pond are an annoyance, but she copes with a canopy net over her bed and a few well-placed bug zappers. What must it have been like 200 years ago when the farmhouse was little more than a shack with no insulation and no plumbing? In her 75 years, she has seen many improvements, making this a much more comfortable home than when she was a child. Back then, servants and workers kept the farm, stables, and orchards running. She has seen photos and drawings, but it's still hard to imagine these beautiful gardens and park-like grounds with rows of corn and mounds of hay. Her husband, Alfred, didn't see what she sees. To him, this much land was a burden, a costly maintenance headache. Yet he worked by her side to help her raise a child. Had he lived long enough to experience the loss of that child, that would have killed him. If it wasn't for Maggie, Mildred's granddaughter, it might have killed Mildred as well. Her dream, now, is to accompany her first great-grandchild on a daily stroll from one end of the property to the other, with screams of joy as the stroller bounces along the path to the pond. Bug-eyed and filled with wonder, this future child will strain to look over the hedgerows to the iron gate and gardens of the carriage house, where great-great-aunt Sylvie will be setting the table on the patio for tea. When that day comes, Mildred's mission will be complete. She will be able to hand over the reins to a new generation. The buzz of a landscaper's edger reminds her that there is still much to manage before she can resume her role as doting matriarch of the family estate and hand over the job of running the place to her granddaughter. But Maggie is unmarried, and this would be a perfect day for a wedding. The sky is a pale blue dotted with wisps of clouds, the happy kind one paints on a canvas with a fan brush and just a kiss of titanium white. Another electric motor starts up, tackling the wayward branches of the hedges, flipping small clippings and bright green leaves onto the stone path which only gets the sun when the highest part of the day. The slates will remain cool throughout the day. Someday, Maggie will make her way to the carriage house along this path, and Mildred will escort her. But not now. She needs to find someone else. the next one will be the right one for her. Mildred addressed her black and white straw hat. Its wide brim dark enough to make the few strands of her silver hair that refused to stay in place look intentional, as teased highlights to the age-appropriate waves down her neck. A woman her age needs to train the eyes of onlookers away from the things one cannot change to focus instead on what one can change. So, for Mildred, foundation and a touch of rouge, not too much to make her look like a porcelain doll, are sufficient on most days. One needs to look her best at all times. She inspects her hands for age spots. Soon, she'll have to start using foundation on them, just to avoid the obvious cover-up of white gloves, like Jacqueline. Why does that obnoxious woman always have to pollute my thoughts? "Can I get you something, Mrs. Cranberry?" Josie calls out from within the bedroom, the vacuum wheel squeaky as it passes. She continues toward the walk-in closet, the only other room in the main house that really gets any use now that Maggie has been working longer shifts at the hospital. Whatever free time she has, she spends with Sam, a post-COVID convenience. As far as Mildred is concerned, Sam will not be the one. He can't be. The one she marries will need to agree that this property is too important to be divided up and parceled out the way so many have desecrated the beautiful open spaces throughout New England. This will stay in the hands of the family. It has survived all these generations and is the last remaining peaceful setting in Old Cranberry. Mildred can feel the heat rise in her neck, even though the sun isn't touching it. "Oh, hello, Josie," says Mildred, but the vacuum drowns out her voice. So much happens here to keep the place worthy of guests, deserving of a garden club luncheon or tea. It's tradition. Perhaps it is time to invite the club back now that membership has fallen and the parish hall is proving too large. In the distance, Mildred hears a pile driver hammering steel pilings into the ground a mile or so away. A flock of birds fly overhead, seeking refuge in a nearby tree. Mildred watches them disappear into the branches, one by one, and then in groups taking shelter in the thick leaves. The breeze blows the branches, turning the leaves over and over, flashing dark to light in the sun. But the birds remain invisible, holding on to their temporary haven. "I know how you feel, little ones," she says. "I don't like it either. Don't worry, you'll always have a place to come home to. That is my promise." She steps back into the bedroom, closing the French doors behind her. Taking a hold of the dresser, she slides her feet into her Ferragamo espadrilles. She would rather wear heels, but at her age that would be too much of a gamble. These will work well with her floral print, O-neck, two-piece midi dress. She grabs her purse and cautiously navigates the staircase to the entrance hall. Double doors stand open at the opposite ends of the corridor, letting the morning air cool the room naturally. Mildred takes a moment to soak in the view from the patio before stepping down onto the stone path that leads to the carriage house. The 3/4 pink sleeves of her cover-up hide most of the age spots and imperfections, although they don't really bother her as much as they do the more self-admiring ladies of the club. Aunt Sylvie, on the other hand, will surely fail to notice the new outfit. Lately, her thoughts have been elsewhere, scrambled and forgetful at times. Of course, she could just be preoccupied with the roses. She spends most of her time tending them in the garden. The iron gate that marks the old border of the property groans as Mildred pushes it open and steps along the gravel path through the rose garden. The carriage house is Aunt Sylvie's domain now. She pulls at her dress to keep it from snagging on the thorn, but she fails to keep the hem of her cover-up free. The head of a rose slaps against her leg, and she has to stop to unhook herself from the thorny hold, causing her to drop her purse. Her cell phone spills onto the path. Mildred notices that Maggie has sent her a text. "Grandma, Sam proposed." The photo of her with her left hand raised shows off a diamond ring. Mildred's chest tightens and she takes a moment to breathe. No. She can't marry a Castleby. As she approaches the garden bench, the air grows colder. Mildred pauses, a shiver running down her spine. It was something other than the brisk air, something she had last felt when her daughter died. Suddenly unsteady, she sits on the bench, waiting for the feeling to pass. Her heart thumps, the rhythm erratic. Her throat tightens, arrhythmia, more noticeable than usual. With a hand on the bench, she takes a deep breath and exhales slowly. On the next inhale, she smells lilacs. There aren't any lilacs on the property. Where could it be coming from? She pushes against the stone bench to stand, and something touches her hand, sending her back onto the bench. There's nothing there. A flock of birds burst from the old oak beside her, circling overhead before flying off over the carriage house's roof. "Millie," Aunt Sylvie calls from her patio, where she has set the tea table. "Don't think I can't see you sitting there. Come, keep me company, unless you're waiting for someone to join you." Mildred's legs shake as she crosses the lawn to the patio to join her aunt. She holds her arms to her sides as if walking a tightrope. At one point, she looks back at the bench in the shade of the oak, and she can't shake the feeling that she isn't alone. Chapter 2. As Mildred steps onto the patio to join her aunt, Sylvie is fishing a biscuit from her tea, scooping up one of the islands of cookie pulp from the Earl Grey sea. Sylvie raises it to her lips, puckering to reach the spoon before the cookie crumbles and falls back into the cup. "Auntie," asks Mildred, "do you ever get lonely here?" Mildred pulls the wrought iron chair directly across from her aunt and lowers herself onto the cushion. Sylvie continues hunting for errant biscuit pieces floating in her cup, hooting when she manages to snag one, and then fights to steady her hand to bring it to her mouth. Mildred waits for Sylvie to notice her, but then helps herself to a cup of tea, lifting the bone china teapot and pouring the tea into a matching cup. "I could have done that for you, Millie," says Sylvie. "Auntie, how often have I told you how much I despise being called that name?" "But it's your name, dear." Sylvie lifts her cup to her mouth, holding her little finger apart from the rest. "My name is Mildred." "Since when do we have to be so formal with each other?" Sylvie returns her cup to its saucer before reaching across the table to retrieve a card, pen, and envelope. She studied the card as if she hasn't seen it before. "What did you ask me?" Mildred watches Sylvie open the card and read it. From the front, she can see it's a sympathy card. "Oh," Sylvie says, making the sign of the cross. "Someone died?" Mildred rolls her eyes rather than address the comment. Instead, she holds up her phone. "Look," she says. "What?" Sylvie answers without lifting her head. Her lips pucker and her brows wrinkle as if she's trying to remember something. "Oh, Gertrude. That's who this one is for. I should just fill them all out ahead of time and label them." "Look," says Mildred, leaning forward to push the photo Maggie sent closer to Sylvie's face. "Oh, it's Margaret. She's so pretty. Looks a lot like her mother, God rest her soul." "Auntie, she wants to be called Maggie. I know it's challenging, but you always flip it around. I'm Mildred, not Millie, and she's Maggie, not Margaret. Got it?" "You never used to be this angry, dear," says Sylvie. "Can I call you that, or do you have a problem with that too?" Sylvie takes another sip of tea, wrinkles her nose, and puts it down. "Why do I smell lilacs?" "You too?" Mildred looks around. "You don't have them in the house, do you?" "Oh, I wish I did," she says. "I love them. I think there used to be lilacs on the property back when I was a young bride. That was before you came along. It was your father who cut them down. He hated them." She places her forefinger on her chin and taps. "Where were they?" asks Mildred. Sylvie points past Mildred to the iron gate. "From there to the pond, where my roses are today, and on both sides of the old oak. I think they were on our side of the property line, but he told my father that they had to go." "Was that when he bought the property from your father?" Mildred hadn't heard the details of that transaction before. "Oh, Mother was so upset. She loved those lilacs. I can still smell them." Sylvie takes a deep breath and then grabs her side. Are you okay? Mildred stands and comes to her aid. I'm fine. I just had a pain. They come and go. Sylvie pats Mildred on the arm and smiles. Would you like me to make some more tea? Mildred grabs the teapot. I'll do it. I need to use the restroom. Well, do it the right way, Millie. No tea bags. Mildred sighs and enters the house through the open French door. In the kitchen, she fills an electric kettle with water and plugs it in. She scoops 2 teaspoons of leaf tea from the tin on the counter, gently lets the tea fall onto the mesh infuser and places it in the teapot. When the water heats and starts releasing steam, she adds the water to the pot and visits the restroom. Before leaving, she checks the medicine cabinet. Nothing unexpected. Creams, deodorant, lotions, cotton swabs. No new medications. Mildred returns to the kitchen and grabs the pot. Sylvia is bent forward, her head just inches from her teacup when Mildred returns. Mildred taps her on the shoulder, and Sylvie jerks up, hitting the back of the chair. Where did you go? I went to make tea. Oh, I thought you left. I'm starting to worry about you, Auntie. I worry about you too, dear. You said nothing about Maggie's engagement when I showed you the photo. Mildred reaches for her phone again. Oh, well, she sent me a picture too, says Sylvie, but I had already seen it on that faceplace. She posted it on social media? Mildred drops into the closest chair. I thought I could talk some sense into her before she announced it to the world. I don't know why you're so upset. She's been seeing Sam for over a year. It has been that long, hasn't it? Sylvie starts counting on her fingers, stopping at the ring finger on her left hand. She stares at the ring's golden rose. Mildred wonders if Sylvie has lost her train of thought again. Yes, it was over a year ago that I saw him with his mom. Or was that a different time? I have so much trouble remembering things. I'm getting to be like you. Auntie, why do you know these things and I don't? You used to be the smart one, Sylvia chuckles. Very funny. Mildred pours the tea and then leans on the table, facing Sylvie. Do I have something in my teeth? Sylvie asks. I need to talk to you about this, Auntie. I'm serious. Maggie cannot marry Sam Castleby. Mildred's heart is pounding again. My father worked hard to make sure this property was safe from all those greedy land grabbers who just want to turn Old Cranberry into a modern suburb. And I'm not going to let it go to the son of a progressive-leaning property developer like James Castleby. She starts hyperventilating. Calm down, Millie, says Sylvie. Mildred, there, I said it. You will give yourself a heart attack. It runs in the family, you know. Don't remind me. But it's a stroke and I'm more worried about, and I will definitely have one if the property winds up in Castleby hands after the wedding. I believe it was you who promised to transfer the title to Margaret, not Maggie, because Margaret is her legal name. And you did this legally in writing, remember? What are you trying to say? Asks Mildred, holding her cup steady as she raises it to her lips without putting her elbows on the table. You did this to yourself, says Sylvie. You can undo it. Oh, but you made it so public. Everyone in the garden club knows, and now they know she's getting married. So that's that. Mildred watches closely as Sylvie raises her teacups to her lips. She finds herself mimicking Sylvie, puckering her lips to sip her tea. Too hot, says Sylvie. She goes to return the cup to the saucer and the tea spills on her hand. She grabs it with her other hand. Ow! Fumbling with her cup, Sylvie sends hot tea over the edge onto the saucer. She snaps her fingers in the air to shake off the sting. A few drops fall onto the open card, and Mildred rushes with a napkin to soak it up. Auntie, the card! You're not hurt, are you, Auntie? Or would you like some ice for that terrible burn? No, thank you. Sylvie wraps a cloth napkin over her hand. Who is the card for? It's your card, Auntie, says Mildred, placing the card and pen out of Sylvie's reach. I assume it's for Gertrude. Oh, yes. Poor Gertie, she says. I can't believe how much time we wasted talking about how sick she had become. Dear Gertrude, such a long, difficult time. for all of us. I agree. After placing the tiny apple blossom cup on its matching saucer without letting it rattle the way Sylvia's did, Mildred leans back and crosses her legs. She let her foot rock in the air. Remind me to buy more sympathy cards, Mill. She gives her an evil grin. I would hate to go to a wake without one. Sylvia's eyes squint and she leans forward. What are you looking at? Asks Mildred. She follows Sylvie's gaze to the old oak shading the garden bench. A cardinal sits on the lowest branch, the one around which Mildred's dear departed Alfred had tied the rope to create a swing for Audrey when she was a child. Audrey would spend most of her free time down here, sitting on the garden bench, playing in the gazebo near the pond, and swinging on the tree swing. Life is too short, says Sylvie, continuing to ignore Mildred, looking past her. You really should stop worrying about your legacy, dear. Mildred turns back. What do you mean? I'm only trying to hold on to the past, Sylvia says. You're living in the past, if you call that living. Sylvia's eyes meet Mildred's and she is suddenly more alert. Your only grandchild has just gotten engaged and all you can think about is your damn property. You live on this property too, Auntie, says Mildred, feeling the heat rise in her neck again. Sylvie pushes against the arms of her chair to lift herself up. Well, maybe you shouldn't have made that stupid public promise to give Margaret the property on her wedding day. Mildred feels the pain of that comment and struggles to find words. Sylvie reaches for her walker and pulls it close. As she struggles to maneuver around her chair, Mildred stands to offer help. I could do it, says Sylvie. As she crosses in front of Mildred, she passes gas. Auntie, must you? Don't you dare do that at the luncheon. Sylvie reaches into her pocket of her garden smock and produces a brass skeleton key. I forgot to mention that I found Osira's key. What? Sylvie let the key fall back in her pocket and walks away. Auntie, you can't drop this on me and leave. Mildred starts after her. I have to poop. I would have thought you figured that out, she says, passing gas again. Mildred freezes in place, lost in thought. Could it be the key? Could the stories of Elsira's clever deception be true? Did she lock herself in the potting shed after stabbing her husband with a pitchfork? This is the worst possible time to stir up speculation about a 200-year-old murder. Whether Elsira did it has remained a mystery for 2 centuries, and if it was discovered that she indeed was guilty, it could change everything. All of Mildred's plans to bequeath the property to Maggie could be in jeopardy, whether the wedding happened or not. The smell of lilacs returned and a cold breeze wrapped itself around Mildred like a blanket of ice. She can't shake the feeling that someone has just grabbed her. Unlike last time, the grip on her arm is real, as if someone or something wants her attention now. All right, so that is chapter 1 and 2 from the series, The Old Cranberry Ladies Garden Club, and book 1, The Ghost and the Key. So the strengths of The Ghost and the Key is packed in the drama of small communities, end of life, generational differences, and a sweet romance. Then there is the mystery. Elfie Devine returns to Old Cranberry to lay claim to Cranberry Farm as the descendant of the illegitimate child of Chester Cranberry back in 1833. Her argument is that Elsira Cranberry murdered her husband, and, as such, she and her descendants could not inherit the property. And the proof? It all lay with the 200-year-old key. So the story has 3 leads. So you've met Mildred Cranberry. She is 75 and she currently owns the farm. She takes her responsibility for the property very seriously. You've also got a taste of that. And she will go to great lengths to preserve it for future generations. Sylvie Rose is Mildred's aunt. She is a widow and she lives in the carriage house, and she is the heart of the Ladies' Garden Club. As the story goes on, you get to meet more about Sylvie and also more about the garden club. And then, as you've been alluded to, there is Maggie Peyton, Mildred's granddaughter. She is the only survivor of the next generation, so she was orphaned and she has no siblings. So she will inherit Cranberry Farm when she marries. So we have 3 generations and 3 very different ideas of what loyalty, obligation, and opportunity mean. Standing at the end, the actions of the Cranberry women and Effie are logical and consistent with who they are. I had a little trouble following the familiar relationships over the 200-year-old period. There are a lot of siblings and half-siblings, and I think I had trouble following it mostly because they're not actual characters. There are more references in documentation. Ultimately, I opted to just accept the outcome and move on rather than to really try to understand the who bedded whom and yielded who and who they married. It was, I just couldn't keep up with that. The Ghost in the Key is the first of 3 books in the series, with book 2 being The Widow Murderess, which is set in 1833, and book 3 being The Sparrow and the Crow, which is set in 1863. So although I haven't read book 2 or book 3, it does seem like this theme of how Chester Cranberry died and what happened with his widow, that's the thread that goes through all 3 of the books. All are independently published and are promoted by Partners in Crime book tours. Check out the PICT tour, which is going on now, for information on all the books and links to online book retailers. Now let me introduce you to our author, Bill Cusano. So Bill is a retired deacon at an Episcopal church and a believer that it is the process rather than the outcomes that matter most in our lives. Retired from the corporate world with an 8-year stint running a nonprofit feeding program, Bill attacks every project as a ministry, giving it his full commitment. Needing to readjust to life after losing the love of his life to leukemia in April 2024, Bill returned to writing full-time, resulting in the Old Cranberry Ladies Club series. The motivation and inspiration for which came from his wife's voracious appetite for reading historical fiction. While this is Bill's debut novel, he has always been a writer, publishing short stories and poems early on, and then beginning a daily spiritual blog in 2008. You can follow Bill's reflections from the garden bench, along with other writings on his Substack account. So links to that are going to be in the show notes. A quick note that Jack and I met Bill at Killer Nashville in 2025, and it's always a pleasure to meet an author and to be, impressed with the person. And then you get to read his work and it just reinforces that joy. Wondering what to read after you finish The Ghost in the Key? Partners in Crime Tours is your ultimate destination for all things mystery, crime, thriller, and cozy. Since 2011, they've been working to fill bookshelves with gripping and heart-pounding reads. Discover new mystery series and connect with other fans with Partners in Crime. Look up Partners in Crime Tour on your website or your favorite social media, partnersincrimevbt.com. And authors, whether you're looking to promote your latest thriller, discover a new mystery series, or connect with fellow fans of the genre, PICT as you covered, check out their promotion options that come with the personal attention of a dedicated coordinator. So now Jack and I are taking off next week for the July 4th holiday. I'm working on talking him into replaying a previous story. I've found a couple from our earlier seasons that totally fit the sticky genre. You have to check back next week to see if I was successful. Our next original episode will be on July 20th with Rendering the Truth from Chuck Brownman, where, well, just about everything is the sticky means of murder. All right, Jack, take us out.